All information contained in this podcast is general in nature and does not consider your individual circumstances. You should consider the appropriateness of this information with regards to your individual objectives, financial situation, and needs. Welcome to Sharing More Than the Sheets, a podcast to help you and your partner make better financial and lifestyle decisions so that you can both focus on the things that you love. I'm your host, Michael Khouri, financial planner, green thumb, husband, and just dad. What is the purpose of life? Now, that's a discussion for a whole other day, but today I wanted to talk about purpose. As a financial advisor, I talk to clients all the time about their goals. I talk about money. I talk about how their money ties in with their goals. And today, as we record our 100th episode, I look back on the last 100 episodes and the journey that I've gone through to get to where we are today. Now, how does a podcast show relate to purpose? Now, let me explain that to you. When I started this podcast show, my initial reason for doing it was to get myself out there, show people who I am, and essentially have content online so that people can listen to what I have to say. But as I started going through the shows, and even after the second or third show, my purpose changed immediately. When I have people coming up to me saying, Michael, I've listened to your episode last week, it actually really helped me. Or we listened to this and it made a massive difference to my family in the way we interact with each other. Or even existing clients, when they talk to me and they say, oh, we've been listening to your episodes and they actually really help us. This creates such a purpose inside me that just keeps me going, because there's nothing more, there's no satisfaction greater than having an impact on other people's lives. I'll be honest with you, as you can probably assume, I'm a very busy person and I am very time poor. But to make the time every week to record these episodes for me is only done because I have purpose behind it. And that purpose is to help others. And that purpose is to help get the word out there. Even if it's somebody that I will never ever talk to, it's given me enough of a purpose inside me to continue to do what I do. And it creates enough motivation for me to persist and to do this episode, to record an episode every week. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is because Winston Churchill said, it is not enough to have lived. We should be determined to live for something. And that's very, very important. As an advisor, I talk to people all the time about money and goals, etc. And what I find is that if somebody doesn't actually have a purpose, or if they don't have a goal that ties in with what they personally care about and what they believe in, the money means nothing. So many people are successful and they have businesses that make a lot of money and they're able to save a lot of money and even invest a lot of money, but they don't have a goal or a purpose. And it's okay if they haven't found it yet. But as an advisor, it's my job to talk to people about these things, to ask the right questions, to help the person sitting across the table from me to look inside what they actually want out of life, to really put things together, put things in perspective. Because as soon as that purpose is found, as soon as there's a goal or there is something that isn't related to money, suddenly everything else just falls into place. Napoleon Hill, he wrote a book called The Law of Success, and he says the secret of success is constancy of purpose. Success normally is followed by a purpose, a reason, a motivation. Some of the most successful people in the world were not motivated by money. Yes, initially they maybe were, but you get to a point, if you're successful, where you make money, you have money. And if you don't have a purpose, you'll just keep making money. And you'll just keep doing the same thing, hoping that it's going to make you happy. And the reason purpose is important is because without it, you're literally just, it's like running a race without a finish line. You're literally just running, and you can run all you want, but you're never going to be satisfied with how much you've run. You're never going to get any personal satisfaction with how much you've run if you just keep running and you don't know why you're running or where you're running to. When you know your purpose, it helps you differentiate between the important and the unimportant. As an example, during your day, there are things that are going to upset you and get in the way. And when you know your purpose, when you know what you should really be focusing on and what you really care about, you're not going to let the small things bother you. as well as that, the time and the way that you use your time in the day or in the week, once you have a purpose, you know what you should be giving your time to and what you shouldn't be giving your time to. As an example, I see many situations where somebody will have a day job which they don't enjoy. It just pays the bills, and essentially it's just there to pay the bills, and obviously that's important and there's nothing wrong with that. And then they'll have like a business, for example, something that they're very passionate about, a side project or something that they really, really want to do, something that just creates this fire inside their belly that just makes them want to just shoot for the stars, makes them want to take risks, and makes them want to go for that. And then, however, during the week, they're wasting their time on doing things that they probably, that doesn't give them that much purpose. So for example, they're watching TV all the time, or they spend 4 hours a day playing computer games. And if they are able to identify their purpose, and I have a client that was in this exact scenario, where just having a discussion, we worked out that they weren't really happy with their job. They wanted to focus more on their passion, which is this, the side business that they had, which at the time was this creative arts thing. And yet they didn't really acknowledge or realize that they were wasting so much time doing other things. And as we started talking about these things, he identified that his passion is his side business. His side business is the thing that he gets excited doing. And we worked out how he was spending his time. And from there, he just started spending less and less time, focusing on the unimportant things. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with watching TV or playing computer games. But he focused less time on that, more time on what gave him passion, gave him this purpose, on what his passion was. And eventually, he was actually able to leave his job and just work full-time in his business on the thing that gave him purpose, on the thing that he was passionate about. And all it took was for him to identify that purpose and just to realize, hold on a sec, this actually is my purpose. This is what I love doing. And as soon as he was able to work that out, it gave him the drive and the ability to differentiate between what's important and what's not important. These podcasts have been brought to you by Better Financial Planning Australia. To book a free 15-minute phone chat, visit betterfinancialplanning.com.au. On that note as well, when you have purpose, your life is suddenly filled with direction and meaning. So, as an example, I gave you the one of, wasting your time in a job that you probably don't really enjoy when you could be doing something else. But at the same time, when you have this purpose, the direction can even be, it could even reflect in the type of people that you hang out with, that you talk to. Being around toxic people that are incompatible with you and incompatible with your purpose and your values can be a really bad thing. And when you suddenly understand your purpose and you accept it, you naturally will start to find people who share the same values with you, and those that have a very similar life goal or very similar aspirations, I should say. And when that happens, you'll find as well that you're more motivated, and suddenly you have more energy in the day. Something I learnt very, very recently is that in life, there are things that give you energy and there are things that suck your energy. And if you can focus more on the things that give you energy, you'd be a lot more productive in the day. You will feel a lot better. You will do a lot better. And you will be able to finish the day still with energy, instead of lunchtime's come and suddenly you've got no energy because you're just over it, tired. You're not sure why you're doing what you're doing, and you're just there because you have to be. So just to go back to my role as an advisor when I talk to people about these things, when I ask certain questions, and sometimes when I dig a little bit deeper, we actually find that most people know what their purpose is, but they've always just been hiding it, or they've been covering it up inside them because they think they should be focusing on paying the bills, putting food on the table, putting a roof above their head, which is all very important and obviously is normally number one priority for most people, and it should be. But they essentially just focus on that, and they give themselves excuses to not take risks, or they give themselves excuses to not focus on what they really, really love. For example, there's no way you can make money out of that. Or, no, I'm not really that good at it. Or people are just going to laugh at me. Or I'm going to let down my partner or my parents or my children. And the issue is when you create these obstacles in front of you, you're literally stopping yourself from doing it. One of my favorite quotes, I think it's Henry Ford. It's something along the lines of, whether you think you can do something or you can't, you're right. If you tell yourself you can't do it and it's going to be too hard, then it's going to be too hard. If you tell yourself, hey, I can do this, then you're going to have a much better chance of actually doing it than if you told yourself, nah, it's not going to happen. So asking the right questions and having these discussions. Now, if you don't have a financial advisor, if you don't talk to me, talk to your partner, talk to a friend, talk to someone, because when you have an outsider's perspective, when you have somebody asking you questions, when there's objectivity there, you're able to think more and you're able to have someone question your answers. Whereas if you talk to yourself, you're just going to tell yourself what you want to hear. Another trap that you fall into is when there is no purpose and the goal is just to save money or make money, then it's very easy to really, really fall off the cliff financially as soon as you hit that goal. There are so many people that save and save and save so well when they're saving up for a house deposit, for example, but as soon as the goal is achieved, they can't save anything at all because their purpose was limited. They've reached their purpose and there's nothing beyond that. And they'll admit to me that, hey, Michael, we saved a lot of money when we really wanted to buy a house, but now that we've got the house, we're just spending everything. And that is probably one of the best examples I can give you when it comes to purpose, because if there's a bigger purpose than just money, then a figure, whether it's $20,000, $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, if there's a goal or a purpose that's, that cannot be, quantified, then, and it's, something that is inside you and something that you really care about, then you'll have the motivation to just keep going and going. For me personally, my purpose is to provide for my family, for my children and my wife, and my purpose is to continue doing what I'm doing so that I can have more of a positive impact on more people's lives. That's literally the best way to sum up my personal purpose. Now, you may not have children. You may not have a partner. You may not have, a platform to be able to talk to people like I do. But you can create that platform. I created this platform. You might have goals that have nothing to do with other people. It might have something to do with yourself. It might have something to do with the environment, helping others. Whatever it is, it's so important to identify that purpose and to say it to yourself. There's a lot of people like to put pictures up in their houses of their goals, of their aspirations, things they want to achieve. There's many like to literally talk to other people about it, because when you talk to other people, you're sort of creating that accountability and you're validating your own thoughts as well. And when all this happens, the exciting thing about this is that it helps you achieve success in your own terms. Success is defined in so many different ways. To some people, success is having $1 million in the bank. To some people, it's paying off their mortgage. For you, if your success is being able to help others or being able to spend a day a week playing golf or 3 days a week with your family, whatever that purpose is, if you know it, if you work towards it, you will know once you've achieved success in your own terms, not in the terms of what you see in the media, not in success in the terms of what your friends have done and what you see on social media, but success in your own terms. And when you have that, you can be content. And when you're content, you can be happy. Whereas if somebody is not content, they'll never be happy. They might be happy for short periods of time, but that's about it. And as I said, having purpose for me has given me the passion and the drive to keep doing what I'm doing. For example, with this podcast show, it's probably one of the best examples because it is time consuming doing this every week. Finding guests, thinking of topics. Yes, I have guests sometimes approach me wanting to be on the show, but most of the time I'm thinking of topics and ideas. I'm time poor. I have good weeks. I have bad weeks with work. Obviously, there's what I do can be very stressful, but my passion and my purpose is what keeps me going. Now, as you can tell, I'm sharing some personal goals of mine and I'm sharing some light on my personal life, but I'm doing that to give you some context so that you can start thinking about your purpose. Reach out to me, reach out to a friend, reach out to someone that cares so that you can talk to them about these things if you're having issues understanding your purpose. I'm not a psychologist, but as an advisor, I've asked people that many questions over the last 10 years or so of being an advisor. And I've been in that many situations where I'm able to understand what questions to ask. So I encourage you, think about your purpose. If you know your purpose, say it out loud. Say it to somebody. Hold yourself accountable. If you don't, reach out to someone. As I said, I'll quote Winston Churchill again. It is not enough to have lived. We should be determined to live for something. If you know your purpose, you will be able to do better, be better, and feel better. Thanks for joining us on Sharing More Than the Sheets. Please make sure you subscribe to be updated with future episode releases, and feel free to share this episode with any friends or family that you think it might benefit. Please visit us at sharingmorethanthesheets.com.au to submit questions or requests for future podcast topics. These podcasts have been brought to you by Better Financial Planning Australia. To book a 15-minute phone chat, visit betterfinancialplanning.com.au.